everyone, it's Ashley. Today I'm going to walk you through the basics of creating a quiz or tutorial using LibWizard. LibWizard is one of the SpringShare products we subscribe to along with LibGuides, LibCal, and LibAnswers. It offers a lot of possible integrations with those other applications, and it is our preferred tool for creating forms and tutorials for the website. In this screencast, I'm going to cover the basics of creating a tutorial using LibWizard. We'll also cover how to use quiz questions as part of your tutorial. And finally, we'll discuss how you can share and integrate your LibWizard tutorials into other tools and applications. You can access LibWizard from the LibApps homepage, which all of you are familiar with. So it's one of your options here. We'll just go ahead and click on it. Your password and username will be the same for LibWizard as it is for all other SpringShare products. So you can see here on the LibWizard homepage that we have a number of different options. Forms is an option that we use extensively on our website. This tutorial will not cover how to use that, but that is something you might want to learn more about. The surveys is another option similar to forms, but with a few more features. Quizzes, which is what we'll focus on today, so this allows you to create tutorials and quizzes. And then you'll also see this option down here for tutorials and assessments. This is a more advanced option with some unique features, but I think for our purposes, quizzes is going to be our best option. The advantages to using the quizzes option are that it allows you to create a more traditional quiz where you ask users to answer questions and then you can see the answers to those questions, only you. But it also allows you to create more of a tutorial-like quiz where the user answers a question and then instead of that answer disappearing and just being sent to you, they can see right away whether they got that answer right or wrong. If they got it right, you can give them a message that provides some more information about why that's the correct answer, and if they get it wrong, then you can provide information that might help them to better understand the correct answer. You can also have an option of whether they have to get the answer right before they can move on to the next part of the tutorial. So it provides a lot of interactive options that I think will be really useful for your purposes. So once we click on this quizzes option, you can see some of the quizzes that we have already created. I'm going to go ahead and click on this shelving tutorial, which is one that I created. So here you'll see the back end of the quiz, and this is kind of the area that we'll be working in and creating our quiz/tutorial. So you can see on the left here the different options for the tutorial, and then on the right is basically an outline of your entire tutorial. So it starts with a welcome screen and it has all of these options. You can scroll through all of them, and then finally we end with the submit button and a thank you screen. This might look a little bit overwhelming, but it's a great tool to see at a glance your entire tutorial, which could include multiple pages and a variety of different options. We can take a quick glance at what this actually looks like by clicking on this preview button here. So this is the first page of this tutorial. You can see it provides some text and images. We can click on this next option to go to the next page, which includes some more information. You can also see down here how many pages are in this tutorial, and so can the user, so they know as they're taking it how much further they have to go. We'll go back to our work screen here, and we're going to go back to the quizzes option homepage, and we're going to go ahead and create a new quiz. So we can do that from this page by just clicking on this create new option right here. We're going to make this a test tutorial. So there's a lot of options here to make the URL a friendly URL, so an easy to access URL, and add a description, but we will not do any of that right this second. So we'll hit create. And here is our work area. So this is where we're going to create our tutorial. Using LibWizard is really as simple as dragging and dropping the options that you want right here into your tutorial. So let's explore some of the options here. For instance, we probably want to start our tutorial by collecting the name of the user. So we can do that two different ways. We can ask for a one-line input. So this will just look on our tutorial like one line that asks them to input an answer. Or actually, LibWizard already has that preset for you here, so you can see under submitter that it's one of the options, so we can use that. So we'll just go ahead and pick up this name option here and just drag it into our tutorial, and it will automatically bring up this box that asks for more information. Because this is one of their preset options, it's auto-filled really the information that we need. So short name in LibWizard refers strictly to a brief name that you give each element of your tutorial so that you can recognize it in our workspace here and can give yourself some clues about what it is without having to fully open it up. So this does not appear to users. It's strictly for your own purposes, so you can keep it whatever you want, or you can change it if that will be more helpful to you. Under here, under question text, now this is what actually appears to users. So you want this option to be what you're asking for. I think name is sufficient here, so we'll go ahead and just hit save. We also have the option of requesting their email address. Now these are again the preset options, but we can use this one-line input to basically ask for any information that we're looking for. We might want to collect some other kinds of information, and we have some other options for doing that. So for instance, since this is for the Claremont colleges, we might want to know what college the student attends. So we have a number of different options over here for that. We can use a drop-down menu, or we can use the radio buttons. Checkbox would not be ideal because that typically implies they're going to select more than one answer. For this, let's go ahead and use the drop-down. So we'll go ahead and pick this up and drag it into our space. And again, it brings up this field which lets you input more information. So short name, this is again just what we want to name it so we recognize it. And I'm going to go ahead and call this campus. The question text is what will actually appear to the user. So I'm actually going to go ahead and make that the same. And as we scroll down here, we see our different options. So this is where we input the options that the user will be able to select. I'm not going to input every option here, but of course we would do that in our tutorial. So if you want to add more options, you can click this little plus sign here and it will create more boxes where you can input different options. So as you scroll down, you see some additional options here. Do we want to make this question required? I'm going to say yes. Do we want to add an other option? In this case, no, I don't think so. And then we can adjust the display mode as well. But I think that's enough for now, so we'll go ahead and hit save. LibWizard should save things for you as you go, but I have had some experiences in the past when it didn't, so you might want to click on this Save Changes option regularly. Now, if we want to see what this looks like, we can click on this preview button right here, and again it will show us what your tutorial looks like so far. So we can cover in future tutorials how to customize your quiz and the design and look of it, but this is the basic outline of a LibWizard tutorial. So you can see it has some challenges like this name option going all the way to the right, which looks a little bit strange, but we can adjust that later. So in our tutorial so far, we've only asked for the name and then the campus, and you can see the options that we selected here. So let's go ahead and dive into the tutorial portion. So we'll go back to our work screen here. Now we have the option of making this tutorial multiple pages, which we're going to go ahead and take in this case. So the first page will just ask for that personal information of the user, and then we'll dive into the tutorial portion. So how you do that is you use these utility options right here. So we are going to add a page break. So I'm just going to grab page break and drag it over. It brings up this option here. This name here is, again, just used for your internal purposes. If you want to name the page break, you can do that. You don't have to, and I won't in this case. And then this next label, this is what the button that users will see to guide them to the next page will say. So you can make it next or continue. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and keep it next. We'll just hit save. And that will be our option. So this right here is our page break. So anything we add to the tutorial after this will be on a next page. And you can add as many page breaks as you want. So this can be multiple pages. So diving into the real tutorial piece, let's explore some other options. So to start your tutorial, you'll likely want to include some text that instructs the user on whatever subject you're covering. So the way to do that is, again, to go up here to Utility and grab, in this case, the text box. So we'll just grab it and drop it here. And again, I'll bring up this box. So name, we'll just call this test text so we know. And this box right here will be where we'll actually input the information that will appear on the tutorial. Now you'll see this looks really familiar and just like a lot of different programs that you use. So you have the option here of inputting text and formatting it in any way that you choose. And you also have the option of inputting images and other media. So that's a great tool that you can use to instruct your users as part of the tutorial. So for our purposes here, we're just going to insert some test text here, but you can fill this out as much as you want and it will appear on your tutorial. Just scroll down here and then hit save. So now we have some actual text that can instruct the user. But say, for instance, we want them to read or review the content there and then answer some questions based on that. So here's where we get into the real quiz portion of the tutorial. Now for that, you're mostly going to use these options right here under multiple choice. So primarily you're going to use, I would say, radios, which is a multiple choice question, or checkboxes. But you also have the option of using rating or grid. For our quiz questions, we're going to focus on two options here, radios and checkbox. So let's start first with radios. So we'll just drag that option over. So again, the short name is just what we want to appear on our back end. So let's call that test question. And under question text, let's go ahead and make this a true or false question. We can make it whatever we want, but I'm going to go true or false. The library can help you with your research. Now to edit our options here, we're going to make the first one true. Second one will make false. And then in this case, we don't need a third option or more than that. So we're going to go over here to this minus button and just click that to remove that option. So there's a couple additional things we can do here. If we wanted one of the options to be the default option, so that would be what would automatically be selected before the user did anything, then we can do that by clicking next to it right here. In this case, we really don't want to do that because we want them to answer it as a quiz question. Down here, we can make the question required. Let's go ahead and do that. And we can change the display mode. Now, because this is a quiz question, we need LibWizard to know what the correct answer is, because we don't just want them reporting on this information, we want it to be a true interactive experience for the user. So to do that, we're going to scroll up here and click on this second tab here, which is called Answer Properties. So go ahead and click on that. And under this answer option here, we want to select the correct answer so that LibWizard knows which is correct. So our options will display here and we'll hit true. So you need to have completed everything in this display properties option first before going to answer properties, because we need those options to appear here. And then we have the option of requiring the correct answer before the user can continue. Let's say yes. We want them to have to answer those questions before they can continue to the next part of the tutorial. And then display correct wrong messages. So this is the option that allows us to provide some more instruction based on the answer that the user provides. So let's say yes, and then we're going to fill in those options here. So if the user gets it correct, then we'll say we're happy to help. or you can provide something even more instructive there about the services that are provided. And if wrong, you can say incorrect, try again. And here's another place where you can provide some information that will help them to answer correctly. Or in this case, just promote the services that we provide. So let's go ahead and hit save. And then that question is now part of our quiz, and we can click this preview button to get a look at what it looks like. So one quirk about LibWizard is that when you preview, it always goes back to the first page. So if you have required options there, you'll have to select them to get through to view the next page. So I'll select that here, hit next, and this is what our tutorial looks like so far. So we have our test text here, but that could be instructive information that includes text and media. And then we have our question here. So true or false, the library can help you with your research. So if we click false and hit submit, our message displays here. And actually the same thing if you select the correct answer. The message will display before we move on to the next thing. So this is a great way to just provide more information that will be instructive to the user. So let's go back to our work area here, and let's try a different kind of question. So let's say we want to use a checkbox question. We'll grab that option here and drag it over, and our options will display here. So we can, again, call this whatever we want for our internal purposes. So I'll call it checkbox question. And then for our question text, this is what will appear to the user. Let's go ahead and make this, because it's going to be a question where they can provide multiple correct answers. Let's make it option does the library provide for getting help with your research. But again, you can make this whatever you want. So our choices here, let's see, say appointment, phone, chat, and we'll add one option here. So we'll click this plus sign and say email. So our options here, now that we've selected all the possible choices, we want to make it a required question. Let's say yes. And then again, we'll go up and click over here to answer properties. So this looks a little bit different because in this case, the user would select more than one option as correct. So we want to select as the correct answer every box because we do provide research support through all of those different means. Do we want to require them to get the correct answer before they continue? Yes. Do we want to display correct/wrong messages? Yes, we do. So if correct, we want to say yes. An encouraging message there, and if wrong, then we want to, say correct the library website for our options. We hit save. And then we've got our question there. So again, we can preview it by clicking this preview button here. And it'll go back to the first page, so I just want to click through that. And then this is our page. So as you can see, the quiz questions just appear right under each other. So you can, you can include as many quiz questions as you want on a single page, or you always have the option of including page breaks and making this multiple pages. So that's the basics of creating a tutorial using LibWizard. The final thing we'll discuss today is how you can share and integrate the tutorials you create with your users or into other products or pages. So let's go up here to the share/URL option, which is right next to preview. And here you can see an embed code, and then you can also see the direct URL. So LibWizard creates a direct URL for any quiz or tutorial that you create. So you always have the option of linking users directly to your tutorial. So they'll see it at its own web page and they can access it that way. There's an option to make this a friendly URL, so it'll just have For instance, we might call this test, and we can make it a friendly URL that's much shorter and to the point and easier to remember. There is also this option to embed. So we have this embed code here that can be used to embed it into a web page, or it can be used to embed it directly into a LibGuide. So LibWizard is a really great option if you're looking to enhance your LibGuides and make them interactive. So I think that's something that many of you will want to take advantage of. And we can provide you with some more information on integration once you reach that stage, but this is the simple answer of how you would do that. You'd use the embed code. Okay, here. So that's the end of our tutorial on using LibWizard. Today we've covered the basics of creating a quiz and or tutorial using LibWizard, and we've covered the options for sharing or integrating the tutorials that you create. If you have additional questions about LibWizard, please contact me. I'm happy to help. You can see my contact information there on the screen. You can reach me most directly at ashley.riordan@claremont.edu. Thank you so much for watching.